going back to when I didn't get re-signed by Nike back in, I think this was 2020. And I'd just gotten sober, and it was like a whole life changing thing where I was, in a relationship. I was kind of a little bit more sturdy than I'd been in a long time. And I was accepting of like where I was in skateboarding. I had, I was still down with, I'm still down with FA. And like at that point I still was, but FA has been very lax. They always have from day one. They know where I'm at in life, and Jason knows me and how I, what to expect. And like, I don't know, the expectations weren't like crazy. So that was cool. Um, and then, so like, I guess the word organic sort of like pops into my head because I was skating when I wanted to skate at that point. I didn't, and I always was, but not having Nike as a sponsor, not feeling like always feeling like there was something you weren't doing or you had to do, all that was gone, and it felt great. I was like, all right, now I got Poets. I can focus on it, and anything skate related, I could just put it towards my own brand, and it's cool. So I felt a little less pressure and whatever. I just felt like I'd retired and in my mind, and I was just skating when I wanted to. But then things started to happen. I was skating more, and then I was like buying my sneakers at Target to skate in. Like I didn't want to skate in any brands like Adidas or any skate shoes. I just wanted to skate in some budge like Target, no frills, no branding on them shoes, and skate. And um and then yeah, I just started skating a lot, or I was skating a lot, and I was putting out like some clips on Instagram for whatever, like whether it's FA, myself, Poets. And then I was still friends with some people who used to work at Nike, and um, my friend Casper in particular, and he started working with Asics, which I knew nothing about. I was not up on what was going on in skateboarding, but apparently Asics was beginning to do. They had been making skateboarding shoes, and they had a skateboarding team in Japan for a few years. And so at that time, he was like, "Yeah, I think I might be fucking with Asics and trying to bring it to the States and make like they're going to come out and try to make a splash and I'll send you some shoes if you're down." Because I think I mentioned, like, yeah, I just bought some shoes at Target. I've been skating, and he's like, "What? I'll send you some Asics. Check them out." I was like, "All right." It seemed cool, like Asics. Like you don't see anybody skating in Asics, and I respect the brand. I've always respected the brand. So you sent me some shoes. I actually liked them. I liked aesthetically how they looked. I wore them. I ended up doing a piece with my friend Chico, who used to ride for Chocolate as well. We did a piece for our brands, Chico Sticks and Poets. Went out to SF, skated, filmed, got a little we put a little piece together, and then it just turned into like, next thing you know, I'm getting hit up by Asics to get a contract to, and now it's kind of like at that point, like, wow, I've been enjoying not like being sponsorless with shoes or, and kind of moving on with my life and doing my own brand. And so I was a little nervous to get involved with a brand like Asics, setting off a new brand. But it was all organic and it felt good. And again, the expectations didn't feel heavy. They knew where I was at. They explained what was expected. And then also at that point, my mentality towards coming through for a brand was a little different. Like I wanted to be more present for a brand and not be so, I look back on the 18 years I rode for Nike, and probably 2/3 of the time I didn't even skate in their skate shoes. I skated in Nikes. And I look back at that now as like disrespectful and sort of like, what the fuck was I thinking? You know what I mean? Although I still will not skate in anything I do not like the way they look. If, I'm very into how aesthetically, if shoes look good, if I'm comfortable with them, and just because they're in a skate line doesn't mean I'm going to wear them and present myself like that. But it worked out, and I find myself wanting to represent them as best I can, and I have a better understanding of like respect for brands that put money into you and have your back and have had your back for a long time. So it's funny. I look back and I wonder, how did Nike even stick by my side for that long? Because I was very anti and I did things different. I skated in non-skate shoes, and I just used to think like, well, it has the swoosh on it, so it's, whatever. But they're trying to sell skate shoes. So yeah, it was just growing up a little bit at my older age. And so now I brought that to Asics, and it's worked out, and it's been good. Like where am I at with skating? I think, um, I'm older now. The body, like I read the Dill interview and he said it perfectly. Like the body's changed. The body's not the same. And, you know, sometimes I don't think you realize just how much, but I've realized lately because, like I said, I just got a shoulder surgery. And at this point, at this age, I've been off it now for 4 months. And just those 4 months, I feel very shook to get back into skating. And where am I going to start? And because before the shoulder surgery, it was still difficult. I mean, it's a fucking crazy question, man. I can go on like this. It's a crazy question because there's so much skating that's going on out there. There's so much amazing skating. And for me to be, a professional backing a shoe brand and putting out content for that brand, of course, I still want to compare myself to what's going on out there. And is it worthy or am I worthy but then that's unrealistic. So there's always the mental battle. Like, well, dude, you're 51. Like remind yourself where you're at, but it's just hard again. And I'll probably look back in 20 years and say, I wish I didn't trip so hard and just did me, but like, it just is what it is. And it seems to never go away. I tend to hate everything I put out these days because I'm always critical of, looking good and making sure I'm coming through. And so, yeah, I think the most important thing, I think the thing that stands out the most is I don't like most of the stuff I put out anymore, like for the past 20 years, but I do like the struggle. I do love when I'm in it and I'm skating and I got some things in mind and I'm going out with the filmer and we're going out every morning and coming up on clips. And then like, it's still, there's that feeling that I miss when I'm not doing it. And it's like the battle and feeling like a skater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss that. It was cool. I can't front. It gave me a sense of pride, a sense of like, I am under contract with Nike, although I didn't make a lot of money. It wasn't like I had a contract like a basketball player but still it's Nike. And when they first, when they brought us in to start the skateboard program, it was amazing. And like, of course it's Nike. So you think like, oh, whatever you're getting offered, I'm taking it. I'm good. Yeah, that's fine. And I ran with that for years. I never even negotiated a contract in 16, 18 years. And I look back at that and I'm like, that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, Nike was cool because it's Nike and the history and and the like just the what's the right word? I don't know. Like when you get with the first time going to the campus and doing the tour and just being overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed, and not always, but for the first time knowing the back, the behind the scenes of a brand like Nike. And it was pretty exciting. And it always was. It was always cool to know. It just felt like you were at like the most elite, shoe company you could be involved with. And